Hi there, Home Care Biz Advisors family. How are you this evening? We're again just elated that we're here, continuing to provide you education and resources about all the moving parts of your company, of your organization. Today we have with us Bradley George of the George Agency. Is going to be here presenting to us regarding employee benefits and the employer obligations to their employees. There are a lot of different, nuances in what an employer has to do based on size of company, FTEs, meaning full-time employees, PTEs, part-time employees. So Bradley's going to give us a quick overview today. But before we start that, Bradley, how about you tell us a little bit about yourself and your agency and what you do?
Yeah, well, thank you, Yvette, and welcome everybody, and hope everyone's doing well. I'm super excited to be here today and speak with you guys. But our agency's been in South Carolina since 1983. It's a family-run agency that my dad started, and what we do on a day in and day out basis is help folks find medical insurance. And we focus with a lot of small and large businesses, ranging from 2 employees to several hundred employees, while also helping individuals and families find healthcare coverage if they're not associated with a group. So we're an insurance agency that solely focuses on that. I've been doing this since 2014 after I graduated from the University of South Carolina with a degree in business management, actually risk management and insurance, and took a lot of entrepreneurial classes. So one reason I'm excited to speak with y'all is I know you are a lot of entrepreneurs here creating your business, and extremely happy and know your businesses are going to do well, and just glad to be here today.
Well, I thank you, Brad. And just for everybody, Brad has been, our agent for, some time now. There is nothing that I can email Brad about. He takes care of, or if I don't understand, he'll try and explain it. Oh my God, I got this letter and I have no clue. Calm down, Yvette. I'll read it. I'll review it. We'll go over it. So that's the kind of person, that's the kind of agent, and no matter what you do in business, is who you want in your corner. So, Brad, with all that being said, I'm going to open up the platform for you to present and show us about employer obligations and employee benefits.
All right. Well, thank you, Yvette. And one thing I will take in consideration is I understand there are a lot of companies that are not in South Carolina. So this is just going to be a broad overview as your business is up and off the ground when you're thinking about employee benefits or the things that are requiring me that I need to do. What kind of options are out there and reasons to
Right.
do it? So first off, we're going to start with what size businesses are required by law to offer it, the importance of employee benefits, just some basic requirements when thinking about implementing a plan, some common carriers in the market, and then other possible avenues for an employee benefit package outside of health insurance. So we did touch on some things about myself, and we do have 2 locations again in South Carolina, in Mullins, South Carolina, and then Murrells Inlet, which is in the Georgetown, Horry County area near Myrtle Beach. So what size businesses are required by law? When the Affordable Care Act was written in 2010 and moved into force in 2014, businesses that have over 50 full-time equivalents have to offer benefits to their employees. And again, that's 50 full-time equivalents. So that's a combination of full-time employees and part-time employees. So as this slide shows, if you're under 50, under that mark, you do not have to offer any type of health insurance to your employees. It is important to note, and you're an accountant, can really be a good resource if you're getting close to that mark on the 50 full-time equivalents. For example, we had a business that we were working with, had 20 full-time employees, but they ended up with around 60 part-time. Working with their accountant, they actually went over that mark. But for businesses that may be just starting out with, under 10 employees or so, just know, have the peace of mind that the new law, the Affordable Care Act, does state that unless you're over 50 full-time equivalents that you aren't any type of liability for offering insurance, health insurance to your employees. So going forward off of that, even though we may not have to offer it, what's the importance of offering? I'm a small business owner. Our agency has around 10 employees. Not sure if anyone can relate with that head count, but employee benefits that we offer is one thing that helps us retain our employees is we get to offer benefits to our employees so they don't maybe go down the street or go down to a different city with a big employer, and I can help retain those and they give some loyalty to working here. Employee productivity, if someone has health insurance, they're most likely going to the doctor, getting those checkups. So they're going to be more of a productive employee. So they're not sick or things like that. From an employer financial standpoint, there are tax advantages. The premiums that you do pay are a business expense. And then it's easier than you think. A lot of people get overwhelmed with the process of putting in an employee benefit package, but working with someone, a personal representative in your state, that concentrates solely on this can make it a lot easier than you think. And lastly, forming a group in most scenarios form better rates. More insurance carriers are available that would quote, and a lot of times you have broader coverages. For example, just to give a South Carolina story, is the group plan covers nationally while an individual plan would only cover in our state. So that's just an example of that. So if we've gotten to this point and just some simple notes to cross the line on implementing a plan, the main thing we look at is participation. And that's what most carriers look at is they typically want around 70% of your workforce to participate in the plan. So if you have 10 employees, they typically want around 7 to participate in your plan. And we all know we do have some of our employees that may be over 65 and on Medicare. We may have some folks that are on Medicaid. We may have an employee that's covered by the military. Those would not count towards our 70%. So when you're thinking about that, looking at employee benefits, we would need to meet that participation amount, and we would need at least 2 to form a group plan. The contribution, most employers have to contribute at least 50%. And one thing to note, folks, is employee eligibility. A full-time employee under the employee benefits is 30 hours a week. So if someone works over 30 hours a week, they're considered full-time and they would be eligible for benefits. I just went through this several years ago. Dependents can stay on the plan until they're age 26. Once they turn 26, they're no longer eligible. And one key note I wanted to add here, especially in your field, 1099 employees are not eligible. Not sure within your business if you run across that, but 1099 employees are not eligible. All right. And that's just the basic requirements on implementing a plan. All right. So some basic items. One thing that folks will need is a tax documentation just to prove that the employees that are signing up for the plan are on payroll. And we get a lot of questions. Well, Brad, how about if we hire an employee after we set our plan in force? We can just set a waiting period for 30, 60, 90 days for if they're hired 6 months later, they would have a probationary period, and then they could come on and join the employee benefit plan. Common carriers in the market. I was hesitant on putting this slide up here because I know we're in a southeast, covering the United States, but some common carriers, and I use South Carolina as an example. Blue Cross Blue Shield, whether that's Georgia, North Carolina, that's going to be a key player. Blue Choice Health Plan, United Healthcare, and Aetna. Those are some main carriers that, when you're looking into this, if you're in Georgia or Tennessee or Pennsylvania, these are some of the main carriers that are A-rated that you can count on to pay claims and be extremely supportive when it comes to customer service issues. We talked a good bit about health insurance. Health insurance is not the only employee benefit, and it may be something where you're a startup company and you don't want to start with health insurance. Let's maybe start with some other products. And one key product that's been extremely important in the employee benefits realm is life insurance, is maybe offering your employees a $10,000 or $25,000 worth of life insurance, because putting that in an employee benefit package gives that at a guaranteed issue chassis, where if someone tried to go get a life insurance policy outside of work, they could maybe not get it because of health conditions. But provided on a work basis, that is a great employee benefit to provide your employees. We also, from our employers that we work with, cancer and disability have been key components in an employee benefit package. And year in and year out, the vision and dental plans are a favorite too. So a lot of folks enjoy those coverages. And again, outside of health insurance, these are products that you could possibly start with, to explore with, and again, see what fit is with your company. You may have a lot of folks that would appreciate dental insurance. You may have a lot of folks that have had a lot of cancer history in their past, or family members that would appreciate that. So again, it's catered to your company and what you think would work. But outside of health insurance, these would be some things I would consider when forming an employee benefit package. And that's all I have. And I just, again, the goals for the presentation today, folks, was to, as a new business owner, a business owner that was a year or two old, is when you're thinking about employee benefits, don't get overwhelmed. Know the federal law about the 50 full-time eligible marks, and you'll be good to go.
Well, I thank you so very much, Brad. But I have a couple of questions just to clarify. There was a couple of areas there. When we had gone through the process with you in offering to our employees, company benefits, we had gone through, counting the FTEs and, the hours and anyone over the 30 hours. So how does that formula actually work? I mean, it was an area that, with all the numbers that I was going through, became a little bit overwhelming. But
Yeah.
can you just break down how that formula is transitioned into a number, and then equating to whether we have to provide that insurance?
That's a great question, Yvette. And the simplest way to answer that would be, there's a rule that you can use an average of 130 hours a month. Because I know some weeks it may be 45 hours, while the next week may be 20. So the golden rule there that I always tell folks is an average of 130 hours a month. We kind of classify
And
that.
I think that's what you finally had said to me when I was getting ready to throw it out of the window. Like, Yvette, just do it this way.
Yeah. Yeah. There's certain what we call safe harbors under the Affordable Care Act, and the 130 hours is one of those that are included.
Perfect. And then you also mentioned towards the end of your presentation, Brad, about the additional benefits, whether it be dental, life insurance. Some of those are they equate or they step over also with, programs such as AFLAC. So what is the actual the difference?
Yeah, that's a great question. So this is what I call the voluntary or supplemental programs. And what it means by voluntary, this is on a voluntary basis. You, as the employer, can decide if you want to contribute towards this, or if you want to have your employees pick, and they would be payroll deducted. Going to Yvette's comment about AFLAC, AFLAC would be a carrier that would offer some of these products. And that's the carrier that we work with. There's other carriers like Colonial Life, like Guardian, like Principal. There's several out there that encompass these voluntary products. It's just you got to find the right fit for your company.
Okay, perfect. And I have a question that's come up from one of our viewers here, Brad. Is there a fee that the business has to pay toward the benefit? So is it a matchable benefit?
Yep. There's no set fee that you would pay working with an agency or working with a vendor. The only payments that you would have would be any contributions towards the premium. And on the medical side, that would be at least 50%. And then on the voluntary side, with the dental, the cancer, the accident, vision, life, you can kind of set that as you want it. But as for fees, the fees are encompassed in any premiums that you pay.
Right. So, for example, guys, is that, for our company, we pay 100%. We don't have our employees contributing. We offer it as a full benefit to them. So again, that from that standpoint, it is discretion of the owner.
That's right. That's right.
So, and what would be your leaving remarks for us, Brad, in terms of, an agency contemplating, providing this as an incentive, because like you said, it is an incentive, and still having that thought that it's like, so overwhelming, could be relatively, arduous.
That's right.
What are some of those leaving remarks that you would say for anybody who's trying to step in, get themselves educated about what's needed, what's not, and again, what those requirements and responsibilities of an employer are?
That's very good. I think my first statement would be is to find someone that concentrates in this field that you're comfortable working with, where
Sure.
that alleviates a lot of work off of you. So if you're sitting there today and you're in Georgia or you're in Alabama or wherever, I would consult with another business owner around your size. That doesn't mean a healthcare business, but whether it's a hardware store or a restaurant, and ask them who they work with or they recommend someone. Because I would say when you get started working with someone that is very concentrated in this business will alleviate a lot of headache off of your
Absolutely.
plate. So that would be my
Absolutely.
biggest recommendation. And then lastly, Yvette, is don't get overwhelmed and really cater to your business. Is if health insurance, if a lot of those your employees are covered through a spouse or military or Medicare, let's look at the voluntary benefits where whether it's cancer in the past, whether life insurance, perfect, make it personal towards your business and it'll be a home run.
Perfect. Brad, I thank you so very much. Again, we want to be able to have you come back on and, maybe present in a little bit more in depth in terms
Yeah,
of, the mechanics of health insurances. But this was a nice introduction just to get everybody's feet wet. I thank
absolutely.
you so very much. And I'm sure I'll be in touch with you soon. Am I up for like renewal or anything anytime soon?
It's coming up. It's
It's
coming up.
coming out,
So
right?
yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
I know that you're going to call me. I know you're going to shoot me that email. I know that you
That's
keep
right.
me on track. So I have no worries about that at all.
That's
Brad, I
right.
thank you, my love.
All
Say
right.
hi to the team,
Yes,
and we
ma'am.
will be in touch soon.
Okay.
Guys, thank
Thank
Brad
y'all.
for his contributions today. And that is our first segment on health insurance benefits and the obligations of an employer. And we will be back again soon and getting a little bit more in depth in terms of, how do we position ourselves to offer benefits to our employees as an incentive for retaining and retaining them as employees on our census. So thank you again, Brad. Take care, and we'll be in touch soon.